So this is a 2009 Dodge Caravan. You see the console's all torn out. My problem earlier today was that the high speed on my blower motor stopped working. So I had the low speed, the two medium speeds, but high speed quit working. Normally, if your high speed is the only thing working, it's your resistor, which is under the dash. You can see I've taken that out as well. Resistor's pulled out, which I'm going to be putting back in. There it is there. So what I determined is it's the switch. So with the switch pulled out and completely taken apart, let's have a look here. The contacts, well, there's your switch there that controls your fan speed. Here it is on the inside. You'll see there's two copper terminals that slide up and down. So the one at the very top, which is that one, was completely covered in melted plastic. So it appears what was going on is on the circuit board, right at the very top here above my fingernail, when the fan was running on high and all the amperage going through it, it's heating up enough that it was melting that plastic. So the plastic got all over the terminal here. So I've cleaned it all off. I've had it back together once quickly and it was working fine. So I'm just going to put it back together right now and show you. So I cleaned up the terminals. I cleaned off all that melted plastic. And listen, now we have all four speeds. There's low. There's the next medium one. Medium 2. And high. So we're back in business. So, again, if you have lost your high speed blower motor and your low speed works and your two medium speeds work, it's not the resistor, which is down there, right? It's not the blower resistor. And if you need to change that, there's other YouTube videos out there. But your switch is either gone or it needs to be cleaned up. And as I'm putting this back together, I'll put the video back on so you can see how to take it apart. It's pretty simple once you know how to do it. Alright, so you've got to unplug these again. There's three, there's only two plugs on mine. There's a third one here which is taped off and not used. Or sorry, fourth one. So there's three to be hooked up. And the controller here screws into the back, whoops, sorry. Screws into the back of the plate here with 4 screws. So we're going to put that back together now. So just before we start putting it back together, I'll give you a quick overview. This is a 2009. The 08s might be about the same. There's 2 screws on the bottom. One there and one there, which screws into the bottom right here. The only problem is there's a gray cowling below it. So your bottom piece here, there's 6 screws. There's 3 on the driver's side in here, and there's 3 over on this side. We'll see that. I'll show it to you when we get there. So this gets screwed in first. There's 2 screws in the bottom. Then it fits into place. And there's 2 screws here that hold it in under the dash. You gotta lift the dash here back up. Get that, there we go. So the 2 screws go in here. And then the real tricky part is right up under here. If you can see these little trap doors, right? You've got to take those 2 screws out first. So there's 4 screws at the top, 2 under these trap doors. You lift this guy up and you take those 2 screws out. Then this whole thing pulls back and you think, hey, I've got it. And I monkeyed around with this for a long time before I finally realized that there must be screws under here and here, which there are when you pull this away. So I've got the 2 screws back in. You'll see them there. The one on the left hand side, or I should say the inside, that's your right hand side. And then on your driver's side, again, there's 2 more screws. And I made a mistake. Sorry, it's the outside, yeah, the outside screw. So the outside on that is the right hand side, and the outside on this one's the left hand side. And once that's put in, right, then you lift up your middle part of your dash and you start piecing this back together. And there's just a couple of metal retainers. You just push it all back together. And then once that's done, like I say, you're going to put 2 screws there. And once they go in, you're going to put 2 screws, where are we here? Whoops, sorry about the sun. Under the trap doors. There's one trap door, there's the other one there. Once that's back together, I'll be back. So we're making headway here. Again, 2 screws at the bottom, which is covered by this cowling, which we'll put that back together shortly. And the center console here, there's only 4 screws, the 2 at the bottom, which I showed you, and the 2 right there that are back in. And then the 2 screws that go up here through the trap doors, that's what holds this center console down. And that's it. The entire center piece is back in. It's that simple. Also, I made an error here. You've got a tray in here. I thought the screws might be in here, and they're not. So there's a rubber mat, which I'll put back in. You do not take that apart. Don't take that apart. Nothing. 4 screws only. It's that simple. And oh, and on the sides here, right about here and here, are the little retaining clips. They're kind of like these guys here. So they just push into place, and they pull apart easily if you have to take it apart. Okay, she's all back together. And you'll see the screws. Let's see if I can get a shot of them. There's your screws. There's one there and one there. And they go under your trap doors. And to close them, you just close them like this. So one. Oops. One, and I might have to do this off camera, but there we go. Oh, it snapped in. And that snapped in. That's it. Now we just got to put this back together. So again, I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but this whole thing just pushes back in, and there's six push pins. There they are, 3 on each side. Whoops, sorry folks. Whoopsie. I hate when people do this on YouTube, and now it's my turn. Sorry folks. Where are we here? There it is, sorry about that. 6 push pins. So you push them in, and then they're just little plastic screws. Don't strip them. 2 of them are very hard to get out. So push the pins in and screw the screws in. And again, there's 3 on this side, 3 on the other, and basically this thing just pushes right back in, kind of like this. And it'll take a little bit of manipulating here, but we'll get her in. Alright, so everything's back together. The cowling at the bottom's in. You're going to see there's 1, 2, 3 screws. That's on the passenger side. There's 3 more on the driver's side. Now I got to put the ballast resistor back in. Where is she? May as well show that to you if you haven't seen it yet. So there it is there. And see if I can find it on camera here. It goes right in the can we find it in there? Let's see here folks, hang on. It goes right in the open hole right there. You put it in there, and there's 2 screws. They're T20 Torx screws that go in there. And to access it, you've got to pull your glove box out. It's not that difficult. Just take your time. Good luck.